Utah football coach Kyle Whittingham with us, 365 Sports. I'm David Smoak. And, Coach, I got to start off with this. I love your style, love the personality. I love the personality of your team. You have a master's in educational psychology and leadership. How much does that help you when it comes to coaching football and athletes?
Well, I guess some. I mean, it's been so many years since I got that degree, I can hardly remember the curriculum. But, in order to be a head football coach, you got to have, some psychology to you. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And so I think that does help and play into it. But, again, that was decades ago, literally, that I got that degree.
Coach Aranda seems to have some of the psychology in the way he coaches a team. I know that Ludwig, your offensive coordinator, was on the same staff at Wisconsin. How much have you run into Coach Aranda?
Not a whole lot, in person. I know, I've observed him, and I know of all the good things that he's done, in his stops along the way, and excellent defensive coach. Good friend of mine, Gary Anderson, was the head coach at Utah State, and Coach Aranda was up there with him as his DC. And so, I follow his career and I'm very impressed by what he's done, but haven't had a lot of personal interaction with Coach Aranda. You
yourself have had to deal with the Cam Rising injury at quarterback, and now Baylor does not have Blake Shapen. He's out for at least 2 or 3 weeks, and Sawyer Robertson will start this week. Is it easier or harder to prepare for a game when there's a quarterback change because of whatever reason?
I think it's probably sixes, unless you don't know who to prepare for. If there's a couple, 2 guys that you're not sure which one's going to play, that makes it a little more difficult. But if you're fairly certain you know which one's going to play, then it puts the focus a little narrower for you, and you're able to get ready and really not very problematic.
You had the game Thursday, and so you have an extra couple of days to heal from that. I know you've got bumps and bruises at various positions, but how much does that in any way help when you have another game, no matter who you're playing the next week?
I think it helps a bit, and we typically start off on Thursdays. That's been our history. We've had far more Thursday opening games than Saturday, and so we're used to that routine and having that extra couple days to heal up, regroup, get your guys fresh. And so I think that's been a benefit for us. And like I said, that's been our MO for a lot of years now.
Do you know much at all about Sawyer Robertson?
We've done our homework. Big, strong kid. Obviously Mississippi State transfer from the state of Texas, went to high school in the state of Texas. So we have done our homework, and he looks like he's a good athlete, and so we'll have to prepare accordingly.
Is when you see what Baylor went through, and everybody has days, but they got punched up pretty badly at home against Texas State, and that was a shock for a lot of people. But does that, in a way, does that even come into play with the preparation of your team emotionally or mentally on coming to here? Or is it, hey, listen, we know what they've been before. We've got to be prepared for everything?
Definitely the latter. And that's the exact conversation we had in our team meeting last Friday is, hey, we're not going to see the same Baylor team that you're watching on tape. I mean, they're smart coaching staff. They're going to regroup. They're going to figure things out. They're going to fix deficiencies. And, we told our guys, you better be ready to have to play your best football to have a chance to get a win.
How ironic is it that you're playing them? It's obviously the first time ever for Utah and Baylor. You're never played before. And here you are playing them this year with the changes coming up next year with the Big 12 adding you among 3 others.
Yeah, that was ironic to say the least. And they're on the schedule next year as well. That's when they come to us. And I don't know how they're going to handle that. Mm-hmm. Not them being Baylor, but the Big 12 as far as are they going to make that a conference game or are they going to keep it a non-conference game? I guess that's being deliberated right now. And they're trying to figure out all those details. But it happened to us with 2 schools. I mean, BYU, who's a team that we've played
Yep.
Almost on a yearly basis and has been a great rivalry, is in the same boat where we have them on the schedule next year as a non-conference, so we'll have to see how the Big 12 handles all that.
You're a BYU graduate. We know about the rivalry with Brigham Young and Utah, and now back in the same conference. Is that something you look forward to?
You know what? I haven't really thought much about it at all, to be honest with you. We're just concerned with this year and our Pac-12 schedule and finishing our time in the Pac-12 the right way. But, we've played them almost every year. There have been some breaks in the action last year and this year being one of those breaks. But it's been pretty much an ongoing thing, even when we were when they were independent and we were in the Pac-12. And so that's something that we're used to. It just now has conference implications, and will take on more meaning because of that.
Your father played the game. You played the game. He also coached for a couple of decades. How much of that is in your blood?
Oh, a ton. In fact, as a former defensive coordinator, he was a great defensive coach, and all my philosophies, techniques, fundamentals, that I employed as a D coordinator come directly from him. And best defensive coach I've ever been around. I've been around a lot of good ones, and I can't say enough good things about what he taught me. And like I said, the defensive aspect of me is a direct extension of what I learned from him.
What was the best advice, or I know there was a ton and you just soaked it all in, but what was perhaps one of the best pieces of advice he gave you about coaching?
Be consistent every day. Don't make sure the players know what to expect when they come in the building. You've got to have the same approach. Players thrive on structure and discipline, and if they know what to expect on a consistent basis, day in and day out, then that's when you're going to get your best results.
Kyle Whittingham, head coach at Utah, with us on 365 Sports. I told you earlier, I love the way your team plays. Somebody over during the offseason, and this was when there was a lot of speculation about who's going to end up where, and my goodness, that lingered forever. But the Big 12's about to get or have a team in their conference that is like playing a ball of razor blades. Do you like that comparison?
I've never heard that comparison, but I'll take it. I mean, we pride ourselves on being a physical football team and bringing the physicality every single week, and I guess a ball of razor blades might be applicable. Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, and it is. You talked about being consistent every day, and here you are. Isn't that the way you do play as both sides of the football?
We hope to. I mean, that's our objective is to be at that same level every week, be ready to play. You only get 12 of these opportunities that are guaranteed. If you do well in those 12, you're going to get some postseason play. But these opportunities and these games are too precious to squander any of them, and that's something that we harp on. Is no regrets whatsoever. You prepare the way you're supposed to prepare every single week and go into every single game with complete preparation and readiness to play.
Do you like the way college football has changed dramatically, really, ever since the COVID with the realignment? That's always been in play, but that's even more full throttle. The transfer portal, NIL, has that take some time for you, or you think coaches in general, to get used to?
Well, it has for me, but you got to embrace it, and you got to roll with the change and be able to continue to just adapt, I guess is the word. Now, do I like it? I grew up with college football being the same for years and years and years, and now all of a sudden it's upheaval seemingly every year. And so, like I said, you just got to deal with it. The transfer portal certainly brought a huge different dynamic to the game. NIL, conference realignment. I mean, we're in such a predatory era of college football, and it's not done yet. I can tell you that. I'm going to tell you the next 2 to 5, 6 years, there's going to be another seismic shift, and it may be the final one, when everything goes to super conferences, 1 or 2 super conferences, and breaks away from the NC2A and has their own playoff system and all that. I think that's on the horizon.
What was it like not knowing? You knew this year, Pac-12, and what a great weekend, 12-0 start, and USC won the week before. Was it something that kept you not up, but bothered you that you didn't quite know the future of where Utah would be until finally the decisions came down?
No, not at all. I thought that we had a good enough body of work, and we're a big enough brand, and had done enough things that we would have a landing spot somewhere. I just felt that when all the dust settled, University of Utah was going to be in a good place, and playing in a power conference, and so no, didn't lose any sleep over that. And as it turned out, that's exactly what happened.
What do you expect Saturday against Baylor, and also the atmosphere at McLean Stadium?
Well, I've never been there, and so I'm looking forward to it. But in fact, I played with Walter Abercrombie. He's a big name back there. I know that. We were in the Hula Bowl together way back in 82, I can't remember what year it was, but we were seniors together and on that in the Hula Bowl, and I believe we played in the Japan Bowl together as well. I think we were both on that trip. So anyway, got to know Walter a little bit, and that was intriguing, to hear about his, talking about Baylor, and then Coach Taff, of course. He was a guy that had some interaction with, and him and Coach Lavelle Edwards, who coached me in college, were the best of friends. And so I've known Baylor from afar, but never been there. I know they got a beautiful new stadium. Well, I guess it's not that new anymore, a few years old, but it's supposed to be a great setting. And I know that they're a physical outfit. Coach Aranda is very committed to defense, and Coach Grimes, I know him. He was right down the road here in Provo at BYU for several years, and so there's familiarity, but never been there, and looking forward to the experience.
My last question is, Cam Rising, no matter his situation this week or whatever, is he the epitome of like what you want in a football player at Utah?
Without a doubt, he's an absolute warrior. He's the alpha dog of the football team. I mean, he is the guy that leads the leaders. Everybody looks to him. He sets the bar, and then he demands that everybody live up to that. Those expectations that he sets, and you couldn't ask for any better personality or leadership from any position, but especially the quarterback position.
I know the week is slammed anytime. Kyle, thank you for your time. Kyle Whittingham, appreciate it, Coach, for your time. Utah head football coach on 365 Sports.
By the way, I did speak to Jake Hatch.